Next is speaker Sri Abir Ranjan Biswas.
This opportunity. Sir, there are 23.5% scheduled castes and nearly 6% scheduled tribes in my home state of West Bengal. According to the 2011 census reports, the STs had a literacy rate in India of the males, they were 68%, and the females, they were 49%, respectively. The West Bengal ST's literacy rate was 74% and 43% respectively for males and females. Under the able leadership of our Chief Minister, Srimati Mamata Banerjee, we successfully run the SC/ST pension schemes, namely the Joy Johar, Tapashili Bandhu, Joy Bangla. All these are, sir, there to take care of the elderly communities amongst the SCs and STs. It actually, sir, we know they are the most marginalized sections of the society, and especially the tribals. They are very poor, marginalized. Socially also, they are downtrodden. So the Bengal government has taken into account all these things. The government, especially looking into the plight at times of elderly people of these marginalized sections, has provided a monthly pension of ₹1,000 to give them a cushion of comfortability financially and also socially. So their social security is also taken care of, and in this way we have tried as much as we could do to stand beside these marginalized communities. Sir, further, we have also established various lending programs to help grow entrepreneurship in these communities. However, matters at the national level requires a serious inquiry. As per the 2011 census, 8.6% of the country's total population is scheduled tribes. Of the total primary school students population, if you see, sir, you will see the dropout among the tribal students is maximum. Most unfortunately, that is. And in the working population, if you see the representation, it is only 6% of those employed in government offices come from this scheduled tribe section. Again, it is not pro rata. In spite of the constitutional mandates and the safeguards that have been provided, we have failed to deliver on the promises. We have failed to accommodate our ST population as was mandated by the Constitution, sir. So these things need to be looked into seriously. So according to the ministry's gap analysis dashboard of villages where the ST population is greater than 25%, you will be astonished to know only 9% of these villages have a bank. Only 24% of these villages, they have a healthcare center. And sir, even more alarming, only 50% have tap water and drainage facilities. As recently as February 22, this is a very alarming situation and a particular case, alarming case. A tribal community in Jammu's Doda district was compelled, where we are spending so much words on Jammu and Kashmir, and we are thumping our own backs of what we have done in Kashmir and how we keep on lauding ourselves what we have done. Whereas if you see the STs, who are larger in figures than the SCs there, nearly 10%. In one particular case, we found that a tribal community in Jammu's Doda district was compelled to spend their own savings in order to gain access to potable water in the village. No drinking water. They spend their own savings and they get water. And I knew the people of the ST community in Jammu, they are mainly the Bakarwals and such people who are the most marginalized people of the whole country, I should say. So they had to spend their own savings to arrange for water. Even in the overwhelmingly advertised vaccination drive, a majority of the 50 bottom districts in terms of vaccination coverage has sizable tribal population. That is, 72% of this population is from rural tribal majority districts. So real work real work has happened in Bengal and some other states. In the spirit of federalism, we must take some of these ideas and implement them for the greater cause of the nation, sir. This government should, of course, shed its arrogance and take a leaf out of the diary of Srimati Mamata Banerjee, the Chief Minister of West Bengal, who has done as I said. Sir, in this year's budget, the ministry has proposed an amount of 13,208 crores in the budgetary estimates of 2023 under various centrally sponsored schemes and central sector schemes, out of which the Ministry of Finance has provided only an amount of a little over 8,406 crores. That is, there is a 36% slash. In the years 2021 and 21-22, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs had an allocation of 7,355 plus crores and 7,084 crores respectively. However, the allocation was reduced to rupees 5,472 crores in 2021 and 6,126 crores in 21-22 at the revised estimate stage. What is most shocking is that the Minister of Tribal Affairs could not even fully spend the revised estimate allocation in 2021 and have been able to utilize just rupees 4,070 crores in 21-22 up to 15th February 2022. Most alarming, sir. Underutilization of funds is a serious problem and we need to look into this. The underutilization of funds is also reflected in two special area programs administered by the ministry. Only half of the total allocated special central assistance to tribal sub-scheme was utilized in 2021. For the year 21-22, the allocated amount was rupees 1,350 crores, of which just rupees, a paltry sum of only 4 crores had been utilized till January. Unimaginable. Why this massive shortfall? On top of this, in grants in aid, out of rupees 1,350 crores of grant in aids for 2021, only rupees 364 crores have been utilized so far. Again, sir, very alarming. The Standing Committee of Social Justice and Empowerment too observed that, I quote, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs should avoid rush of expenditure at the fag end of the financial year and make sincere efforts so that funds are timely spent and the targeted people get the benefits. The Standing Committee of Social Justice and Empowerment in its 30th report has pointed out the stagnation in scholarship programs offered to ST students. Under pre-matric scheme, scholarship scheme that is, the beneficiaries of the funds released in some of the states such as Arunachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Maharashtra, Meghalaya, Puducherry, Telangana and Uttar Pradesh are alarmingly showing as nil. And of course, I don't know, the minister will clarify this. 750 national fellowships are provided to the ST students each year for pursuing higher studies. During the last 5 years, only 45 students have been awarded the National Overseas Scholarship. Even 20 scholarships are not being fully utilized. The Standing Committee also found that overseas scholarships of 55 tribal students lapsed in the last 5 years due to irresponsible approach of the government. Out of the sanctioned amount of rupees 5 crore for overseas scholarship, sir, most unfortunately, only little over 2 crores has been spent for the year 21-22. The committee noted that for most of the scholarships, the number of beneficiaries and funds allocated has not increased over the year. The recommendations that the committee has put is, I quote, the annual increase in tribal population should be taken into consideration at the time of budgetary allocation, and it should also be ensured that the number of beneficiaries increase every year, close quotes. So the Parliament must note with urgency that the National Commission on Scheduled Tribes is short-staffed and that the reports of the Commission since 2018 are still under process in the Ministry of Tribal Affairs and have not been presented to the Parliament till date. In light of all these facts and figures, I urge the House to unite for a sincere discussion focused on the welfare of the scheduled tribes. I would like to end by saying, in this 75th year of Indian independence, that any progress that does not include all its citizens is not a progress, sir. Because at this point in time, in the global scenario, whenever we talk of anything, we talk of inclusiveness. And especially in the Indian context, if you really want to surge ahead, move ahead, if you are not taking on board all the marginalized sections, this progress will only be a limited progress, and ultimately this will not allow you to achieve the goals you are dreaming of by saying sabka saath, sabka vikas and sabka Biswas. Sir, this should not merely remain as a statement of the government. It should reflect on the ground. It should be palpable. We should be able to feel it. The marginalized communities should be able to have the advantage of it. And we should be more careful that any future point in time, the history does not denote this as a mere jumla. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next speaker, Dr. Kanimoji N.V. Somu.